Hey there, friends! My name is Desiree, aka Mama Friendly. I do all sorts of videos on my channel, cooking videos, vlogs, hauls, all sorts of stuff. So if any of that sounds like fun to you, I hope you'll subscribe and join me on this YouTube adventure. As you can see, this is just a very low-key casual video today because I'm making a very low-key casual recipe, if you could even call it that. This is more so showing you how to adapt something than it is a recipe itself, I think. But this video is a collaboration. It's called Mac Attack and it's hosted by Jim at Jim's Kitchen. I love his content. Please go check him out. I'm going to have his channel linked down below, and I'm also going to have a link to the collab itself so that after you've watched my video, you can check out what everybody else made for their Mac Attack collab. Basically, the point of this collaboration is to make something out there, something unexpected, I guess, but it has to revolve around boxed mac and cheese. Now, if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. But if you're an old friend, you already know I have a bunch of allergies and intolerances, so I eat exclusively gluten and dairy free, and as such, most of my recipes on this channel are gluten and dairy free. Which is why I'm saying this is more of an adaptation than a recipe, I feel, because mac and cheese at its core is carbs, right? Pasta, which are typically gluten, wheat based, and cheese, which is dairy, two things that I avoid entirely. But luckily these days it's so easy to find substitutions in the grocery store that in case you're new to the lifestyle, I'm going to do my homework for you and I'm going to introduce you to a lot of these products so that if ever comes a time in your life where you decide you want to go gluten and or dairy free, you already have this kind of in your back pocket. Now, this recipe is super simple, but it is inspired by a viral food truck here in South Florida where I live. Back in the food truck heyday of like the early 2010s, there was a food truck called Miss Cheezious, and their entire menu was just gourmet grilled cheeses. Now, this particular food truck got so popular that they were able to open a brick and mortar restaurant in one of the snazziest and most touristy locations in Miami, and they're still there. They're still doing great. Unfortunately for me, because grilled cheese is another one of those things that's like bread and cheese, right? Hard to walk into a restaurant and order an allergy-friendly version of that. I've never been able to eat at Miss Cheezious, but I am going to show you how I'm going to make one of their most popular dishes. The recipe I'm going to adapt today is called Mac and Melt, and their menu describes it as creamy Gouda mac and cheese with house-cured bacon on sourdough bread. Now, I ain't got the sourdough and I ain't got the Gouda mac and cheese, but I have the next best thing if you're trying to stay allergy safe. And of course, I'm going to zhuzh it up a little bit and make it extra tasty for us today. So this is going to be my box of mac and cheese. This is the Dia brand, and it's deluxe mac and cheese. This comes with the sauce already made, so it's not the powder kind. It's the squeezy kind, I guess. But you can see it's a dairy-free cheese sauce and gluten-free elbow pasta. So this is ready to go just as is. I will say Dia brand is kind of controversial. There are a bunch of brands of dairy-free cheeses out there, and I'm not gonna lie, Dia is my least favorite. But they do make a mac and cheese that I kind of really enjoy, so I thought it would be a good base for this recipe. Truth be told, this is actually my favorite gluten-free, dairy-free mac and cheese. This is the powder variety, so you do have to mix in your dairy-free milk and butter to make this. Unfortunately, I believe it might be seasonal because it's a sweet potato, pumpkin-based sauce. This is so good, but I didn't think it would kind of fit with the flavor profile we're going with today. We don't have Gouda mac and cheese, but I am going to be using the white cheddar style of this mac and cheese because I thought that it might go better for what we're going with here. Now, I'm going to be making my grilled cheese in this Kite Hill butter. This is my favorite plant-based butter of all the different kinds I've tried. I also will sometimes use Miyoko's for baking specifically, but as far as like things where I'm gonna taste the butter itself, like on toast, this is my favorite. I recently discovered this brand of cheese and I'm really liking it. So this is cheese wedges and they're kind of meant to mimic like the Laughing Cow cheeses. These are a little firmer though, like a lot firmer. They're not as spreadable as the Laughing Cow ones. These do have to go in the fridge, so that's probably part of it. But the flavor of these is really great. This one is pepper jack flavored. And I've been mixing it into my grits in the morning. So good. My last cheese component is I have sliced provolone here from Follow Your Heart. And Follow Your Heart is actually my favorite brand for dairy-free cheese, period. So I recently found these slices and I've been enjoying them on sandwiches a lot, especially when it's heated up. So I think this is going to be the perfect application for this. And of course, you can't have a grilled cheese without the bread. So we've got Canyon Bakehouse gluten-free, and this is Mountain White. It's like a regular white bread, sliced bread here. And this Canyon Bakehouse is my favorite brand for gluten-free breads. This bread is, of course, also dairy-free. It's also soy-free. They make amazing bagels, too. So this is actually kind of a master class in all the things you want to stock your kitchen with if you're starting a gluten-free and dairy-free journey, because having substitutes for your favorite things is probably going to be the easiest way to transition. And of course, you can't make bacon mac and cheese grilled cheese without the bacon. So I'm going to be making this as well. So I think what I'm going to do, because I actually watched a video of the Miss Cheezious truck in action, and what they do is that they butter their bread and they build the sandwich kind of open-faced, and they'll fry up both sides of the sandwich before bringing them together. So I'm going to follow the same method. First things first, I'm going to make my mac and cheese. That's important, right? You want this cooked. And I'm also going to fry up 4 slices of bacon. I might have to make extra because knowing kiddo, he's going to make me pay the tax and he's going to eat most of the bacon I cook up. So I'll make some bacon, and then once that's done, I'm going to butter one side of 2 slices of bread, and on the other side, I'll spread a wedge of this on one, and I'll put a slice of this on the other. We will fry up both pieces of bread, and once they're nice and melty and the bottom is crusty, I'm gonna load up my mac and cheese, my bacon on top, and we should be ready to serve. So a little time consuming because there's a lot of elements that have to come together, but it should be very simple, very tasty, and entirely allergy friendly, which we love. Let's get cooking, friends. So for our mac and cheese, obviously you're going to have to follow the directions on your own box, whatever you're using. This one, I'm going to bring some water to boil in a saucepan. I salted my water. I always like to heavily salt pasta water because that's the only opportunity you're going to get for the pasta itself to get flavor. So we've got salted water here. It's going to come up to a boil. Once it boils, I'm going to cook the pasta for 7 to 8 minutes, and then I am going to dump out all the water, and I'm going to squeeze our sauce packet over the top, and that should be that for the mac and cheese. So we've got our pasta here, very cute, tiny little elbows, and here's our sauce ready to go. No need for mixing or extra ingredients or anything. Just going to give it a little squish to incorporate it. And it's ready to pour onto our finished and drained pasta later. While that's going, I'm going to fry up my bacon. I'm probably going to cut it in half so that it fits onto the bread easier and so that it cooks more evenly. Fry up my bacon in my cast iron skillet. You could also cook it in the oven. Whichever way is easiest for you. The idea is that you want it safe to eat. Here comes our sauce, and as you can see, it's just as luxurious as any cheese sauce you might find anywhere else. I'm gonna give that a mixy mix to incorporate it. Looks good to me. So our bacon is fried, our mac and cheese is cooked. I have a very big skillet here on the burner on medium heat, and I've just sprayed it with some of this avocado oil spray, not just to keep the bread from sticking, but also to kind of help us create that crust that we're looking for. Speaking of our bread, let me go ahead and get it out of its packaging. The thing about gluten-free bread that you might come to realize is that the slices typically are a little bit smaller than your typical loaf of bread. It's kind of a running joke in the gluten-free community, actually, just how teeny tiny our bread tends to be. I don't know if you guys can tell the scale of that just from me showing you on camera, but trust me, it's smaller than you think it is. So, we're going to have this sandwich loaded up pretty good, all things considered. I'm going to go ahead and butter one of the sides of the bread, like we mentioned earlier. And butter the other piece of bread as well. You could also use mayonnaise for this, but we're also a soy-free household, and I'm currently out of my favorite soy-free mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, I've heard, actually gives you an even better texture on the final product as far as your grilled cheese crust is concerned. So if you decide to make it that way, let me know in the comments how that works out for you. So I'm going to put my bread buttered side down right there on the skillet, and I'm going to add my wedge of pepper jack cheese on one slice. Remember, this is supposed to be sort of like a laughing cow dupe, but it's definitely nowhere near as spreadable. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna kind of break it up into chunks, and I'm going to place the chunks throughout the surface of the bread, just for better coverage. I'm going to take a slice of my provolone, and I'm going to put this on the other piece of bread, just like that. And now, I'm actually going to drop the temperature to medium-low, and I'm going to cover everything with a lid. So again, I'm modeling this based on what I was able to garner from watching the Miss Cheezious team make their grilled cheeses. They also do it open-faced like this and then cover it with a lid. The reason I'm dropping the temp down after having it on medium-high to start is because I want the medium-high temperature to get a crust started on the bread, but I don't want the bread to burn before the cheese starts getting melty. And especially because this is dairy-free cheese, it's a little bit unpredictable as to how long that's going to take. So I'd rather let it go low and slow, and hopefully we don't burn our bread. Even if we do, it's just going to give us a little more flavor, right? So either way, we're moving forward. But if we could try to avoid that, then we're going to do what we can to make that happen. Okay, so we've got our bread slice number 1 and our bread slice number 2. Everything's toasty and warm. I also decided to make a side of asparagus just to kind of balance the plate out. I feel like broccoli is a natural pairing with mac and cheese, so that might be good too. Heck, you could even serve it with french fries. Whatever you like, whatever your family will eat, you do you. This is what I'm having though. So now, of course, we have to complete our sandwich. I've got a serving of the mac and cheese here. I never said this was going to be a neat sandwich, so this is going to probably be very messy. You might want to eat this with a knife and fork, but it's definitely going to be satisfying. And lastly, our bacon. 4 slices might be too much, but we want to load this up. So again, not the neatest thing, but it's going to damn sure be tasty. Our sandwich is piled high and ready to eat. Now let's just see. I'm going to obviously grab this slice and flip it over here. Oh, we got a very nice little toast on our bread. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a mess. Definitely a knife and forker right here. And do a little slice. My family has a running joke that if somebody loves you, they'll always cut your sandwich on the diagonal. So if you're ever served a sandwich that's not cut, or that's cut like horizontally or long ways or however, that person has it out for you, because real love is a diagonally sliced sandwich. I'm gonna do my best to take a bite of this. This is just for y'all. We gotta have a cross section too, right? Because what kind of a reveal would this be without a cross section? That is incredible. I already know this is gonna be so good. Let me take a bite. The crunchy bread, the crispy bacon against that soft mac and cheese, all these like savory, salty flavors intermingling. The cheese almost has a little bit of sweetness to it, the provolone, but then you get the slightest little bite from the pepper jack. This actually turned out really well balanced, a lot better than I expected. Like, how could you go wrong with bacon and mac and cheese and grilled cheeses? So I knew it was going to be good, but I couldn't have anticipated that it was going to be that good. So I hope you guys will try this yourself, whether you make an allergy-friendly version or not. Give it a try, come on back, let me know how you liked it. I can definitely attest to this version being fantastic, so I hope you'll give it a shot. Even if you don't eat in an allergy-friendly or gluten-free or dairy-free way, it's always nice to have recipes like this in your arsenal in case one day you're entertaining a friend or a colleague that has allergies. It's always nice to make everyone feel included and have options available for everyone. Now that you've watched my video, I'm going to go ahead and enjoy this, but I hope that you'll check out that playlist and see what everybody else made today. And as always, I want to thank you all so much for being here and watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope you'll please give it a big thumbs up. I'd also love it if you would subscribe and click that notification bell because I post at least 3 times a week, and I wouldn't want you to miss a minute. Thanks so much again for watching. Bye!